3 persons to contest the governorship election in Edo State that will participate in the primaries in Edo State, including Honorable Pius Odubu, Mr. Osaro Obaze, and Pastor Osage Ize Iyamu. We have read from some speculations in some social media and even print media as to whether or not the National Working Committee has the authority to carry out these activities. I refer everyone who cares to know, because we are cautious that we are accountable not only to APC leadership and APC membership. In a democracy, the political parties are also accountable to the populace, in this case the Nigerian people. Order section 13, subsection 13.4, article 4. Are you sure you show me the right section? Yeah, article 14. It says, and I quote, part of the duties and responsibilities of the National Working Committee includes organize primary elections for the nomination of each presidential candidates, governorship candidates, and candidates for election into the national and state assemblies. So the responsibility to carry out this exercise are fully vested in the National Working Committee, and we have exercised these responsibilities to the best of our ability. Perhaps it remains for me to simply say that we have not done anything new, different from what was done by my predecessor leadership, Oda Oyegu. The NWC Oda Oyegu took charge of the election of The NWC had managed in line with that provision. Let me just quote the recent ones. The election conducted in Ekiti State was done by the NWC. It was a by-election. The election done in the one we did in Kogi State a few months back was exactly managed by the NWC. And of course, the one we painfully won, we joyfully won, but painfully lost in Bayelsa State, was conducted by the NWC. It would not be necessary for me to speak to this, but because of the sponsored disinformation, deliberate misinterpretation of APC constitution by those who want to create disaffection, disunity, and weaken the leadership of this party, I thought it is necessary not only to remind us that we haven't done anything different from what we have done before. I needed to quote this section just by way of a reminder. I want to use this opportunity to appeal to all our members across the country, all our leaders across the country, and in particular, our members in Edo State, that on the 22nd of June, we will do everything possible to ensure that we conduct a free, fair, direct primaries in Edo State. And I believe we are not strangers to that, and I believe they will comply with it. Now, the other section we have evoked today has to do with is under page 86, other punishment and hearing of hearing members. It says, and I quote, any member who files an action in court of law against the party or any of its officers on any matter or matters related to the discharge of the duties of the party without first exhausting the avenues for redress provided for in this constitution shall automatically stand expelled from the party. On filing such action, and no appeal against expulsion as stipulated in this clause shall be entertained until the withdrawal of the action of the court, until the withdrawal of the action from the court by the member. So we have evoked this section with regards to Mr. Matthew Idiwekeme, who went to court, and one Mr. Asekome, who until this expulsion was deputy state chairman of APC. Within the last 2 months, he has taken the party to court virtually every other week. Right now, he is a party to about 4 court cases against the party without attempting to take advantage of the internal mechanism within the party to resolve whatever issues that he was unhappy about. We feel that this constitution will not be worth its while if its provisions are not fully adhered to. So we have done it and we stand by it. I want to thank you all. I appreciate that this is a difficult time. I know there's a curfew, but I also know that you have a pass, because if there's any service that is essential, the media is easily one of the most essential services, because news occur, whether good or bad, 24/7. May God protect you as you return to your various home or return to your various stations. Thank you very much. We are going to publish this report in line with our commitment to transparency, and we will publish the certificates so that members of the public can form opinion as to the consistency or inconsistency as are amplified in this report. Thank you. So you may lobby the publicity secretary for your paper to be included, or your media. Tell chairman, not me. What is it? Is it mine or yours? No, it's yours. Tell the chairman. What is it? Yes. He said, tell the chairman. What do you want to tell me? It's paper. Eh? It's paper. To be included. Which paper? The other parts. No, it's not mine. It's chairman's phone. It's my barrel. What do you mean, paper?
You'll be watching Channels Television's live coverage of the APC's National Working Committee briefing holding at the party's secretariat in the nation's capital, Abuja. Do stay with us as we resume our lineup of regular programming.
You've been watching a live Channels Television event.
Welcome back. You're still watching The Gavel. Our next report is on the revised 2020 budget passed by the National Assembly. It was raised from 10.51 trillion naira submitted by the President to 10.81 trillion naira. Now, while the budget was reviewed downwards by the President due to funding issues caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and the drop in crude oil price, the lawmakers say they raised the figure because they believe the loan requests of the President, which have now been approved by them, can fund the new budget.
24 hours after the Senate stood down consideration of the revised 2020 budget for not capturing the 186 billion naira proposed for the health sector, it has been passed by the House of Representatives. In an exclusive telephone conversation with the Deputy Majority Whip, Nkiruka Onyejocha, she says the money is captured in the service-wide votes.
And we are appropriate for several.
However, before the House passed the budget, the Speaker of the House of Representatives spoke on the need to capture the resident doctors in the budget to avert the planned strike of June the 15th.
The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, they are going on strike on Monday, 15th. They are withdrawing all their doctors from isolation centers and hospitals. We met for about 3 hours. One of their major complaints was the issue of Residents Doctors Act, which is not being implemented. It was passed in 2017 and is not being implemented. What is the implementation problem? It's not funded. It's not funded, so the resident doctors are not getting paid for their training and all of that. So whatever we do in this budget, I think there are even agreements signed by the ministers since last year, 8 months ago, and yet it did not come in the budget. So when we're talking about COVID, we're talking about frontliners, then what are we talking about if we cannot pay our resident doctors? So whatever we do, we need to find their 4 billion in this budget. So you will advise us at what point, at what stage do we get their 4 billion?
To avoid our health system being jeopardized, and following the several agreements reached by the Resident Doctors Association, in line with their hazard allowances, I hereby move that we add the total allowances running to 4 billion under service-wide vote, which should be recorded under service-wide vote.
An additional 4 billion naira was added to the budget, bringing the total to 10.805 trillion naira. The breakdown shows statutory transfers of 422.8 billion naira, debt service 2.9 trillion naira, recurrent non-debt expenditure 4.9 trillion naira, and capital expenditure 2.5 trillion naira. It also shows a capital supplementation of 610.3 billion naira, which captures the COVID-19 intervention fund of 286 billion naira and construction of National Assembly Library at 2 billion naira. An amendment on the budget size and statutory transfers was however made on the next legislative day. The total statutory transfer was increased from 422,775,979,362 naira to 428,032,186,792 naira, bringing the total budget to 10.8110 trillion naira. Meanwhile, the House also approved the President's request to borrow 5.513 billion naira externally. The same figure was passed in the Senate. The 301 billion naira added to the proposal made by the executive is a result of increases in capital expenditure to 2.488 trillion naira. Recurrent expenditure jerked up from the earlier proposed 4.928 trillion naira to 4.942 trillion naira, and statutory transfers increased from 398.505 billion naira to 428.033 billion naira. Benchmark price of crude was increased to $28 per barrel, an exchange rate of 360 naira to a dollar, as well as 2.951 trillion naira for debt servicing and 500 billion naira as intervention fund for COVID-19.
This is one of very important legislations and intervention. The country is waiting for this, and with this, we have joined our colleagues in the House who passed the bill. We have done this, but we have other things waiting for us in relation to this.